Greetings everybody and welcome to a new video. My name is Fuko and today we have a look at trades again. The last trade video I did was about 2 months ago when Extinction was fresh out of the Ark Survival Ascended pocket. And back then I was talking about the trades, the perfect trades for the farming dinosaurs in Ark. This time I want to talk about the supporters, and these are only the vanilla supporters. There are probably a lot more supporting dinosaurs. There's also the Dinotarium, which has a buffing call, or the Mammoth, which has like buffing stuff. But these are usually the more frontliners. These are the old school arc supporting dinosaurs that everybody knows. We have the good old Daedon, the never satisfied hunger pig. We have the snow owl that heals the people in within its like ice sarcophagus, and we have the Ceratosaurus, which is able to heal its surrounding team by actively ditching out damage. And we have, of course, last but not least, everybody's favorite commando boss fighter, the Yutyrannus. I have spawned a lot of these in. These are not like my main breeds, so they don't have traits or have only the natural traits that they had when I catch them. So I will talk to you about what's the best trait for each of these supporting dinosaurs. Starting with the Daedon. The Daedon is a healer which is able to heal surrounding dinosaurs as long as it has food in its inventory, or not food in its inventory, as long as it has a food bar, like as long as it's not out of food. It eats a lot, it needs a lot, and if you're using it as a boss fighter, you're probably having a very high saddle on it with a little bit of HP, so it doesn't die that fast, but a lot of food. You are pumping tons of points into food when you have a Daedon. So, to make it survive as long as possible and have food as long as possible, you want to give a Daedon 3 times slow metabolism, which decreases its food consumption by up to 30%, which is huge. 30% more time to actually heal your dinosaurs. And this is one of the few exceptions in the game that actually profits from having fatty, the trait fatty on the creature itself. Because fatty is a trait that increases the armor of the natural armor of the creature for every point in food. And because you are leveling food so much on a Daedon, you actually want to put fatty on this one for the extra like 20 armor for each fatty you have on this creature. So 3 times slow metabolism and 2 times fatty if you are using this for an active boss dino. Next is the Snow Owl. The Snow Owl is a little bit different from the Daedon. First of all, the Daedon is using food to power its heal, but the Snow Owl is using stamina. And also, the Snow Owl is not a creature you are taking with you into boss fights. You are mainly using the Snow Owl to heal your team back up between waves of orbital defense waves or other stuff, like overall out of combat healing abilities. So, you are leveling tons and tons of stamina in the owl. The only thing you want to do when you have a snow owl is level stamina, basically. Maybe a little bit of health, so it doesn't die as quick because they have a very low health pool. And the Badlands of Extinction tend to be very chaotic with their corrupted creature spawns. So, what traits do you actually want to put on the owl? The owl needs traits that reduce its stamina consumption, so you actually can use the heal of the owl longer than you could if you didn't have the traits. So, First of all, you want to give it Athletic. Athletic increases the HP and stamina regeneration of the creature for every extra point in oxygen. So it's actually a stat that is very, very good for the Snow Owl. With high oxygen stats, the more oxygen points you have on your Snow Owl, the better. Maybe it's even worth to give it an extra few points into oxygen instead of stamina. That is up to you though. Everything counts, even if it's just 0.1 stamina each second, right? So what else? There are two stats called Diurnal and Nocturnal in the game. These two stats either decrease the stamina consumption of the animal on the daytime by up to 5% or in the nighttime by 5%. So what I would do is having two Snow Owls, skilling one Snow Owl with 3 Diurnal, so you can use it for like stuff at the day, and one owl only with Nocturnal. And use 3 Nocturnals on that one to use it during the night. If you have 3 times 3 Nocturnal or Diurnal on your owl, you have a maximum of 15% stamina consumption less. So you can actually heal 15% longer, which is amazing because the Snow Owl is actually healing a ton without ever having to give it tons of food like the Daedon. The Daedon is nice for like in boss fights, but if it's out of boss fights, the Snow Owl is definitely the much better healer overall because way less food you have to force feed it. Next is the Ceratosaurus, and this thing is actually quite the handful. It is not the conventional healer that you would think of, like the Snow Owl or the Daedon. The Ceratosaurus actually heals by hitting the enemy. So I'm gonna explain the mechanic really quick. The Ceratosaurus has a special attack that applies a debuff on the enemy creature, which in this case would be the boss. And as long as the debuff is applied on the boss, every hit the boss takes increases the heal that is gonna be ditched out when the debuff runs out. So you apply the debuff, you hit the boss with the Ceratosaurus as many times as possible, and the more hits you actually apply to the boss, the more the creatures of your team around you heal. So, what would be the best traits for something like this? A creature that is right at the front line. And there is a trait that actually helps you to increase your melee hit output DPS, or not DPS, like only the melee hits that you apply, and that is quick hitting. Quick hitting is part of a duo of traits that are kind of not really well liked because they are very situational. There's quick hitting and there's heavy hitting. Heavy hitting increases your attack damage but reduces the hits per minute or per second that you actually ditch out. And quick hitting decreases your damage but increases your attack speed. So, for a creature like the Ceratosaurus, that's a perfect trait to apply. Because more hits, like a faster attack speed, means that you can actually heal your team more. Because you apply more hits while the debuff of the Ceratosaurus is active. So, you want to apply 3 quick hitting on the Ceratosaurus. Top it off with a high level numb and high level vampiric, so it can stay in the fight longer and actually heal double the amounts back from the damage that it ditches out. So yeah, this is actually one of the few examples where the trait quick hitting is actually beneficial. The Yutyrannus. Alright, most people that go into solo boss fights or even group boss fights mount the actual Yutyrannus and apply the the buffs, the attack damage buffs that it applies themselves. So you are usually not seeing people having the Yutyrannus on applying the auto courage. If it's like a boss fight like Dragon or Megapithecus or Broodmother, usually somebody sits on the Yutyrannus. The only examples where this is not the case is the Overseer on Island, where you are where it's the best decision for you to enable auto courage on the Yutyrannus and have a jetpack and stay out of reach of the Overseer, just hovering over the arena and ditching out a lot of damage with firearms. But usually you are a person that rides the Yutyrannus. And if that's the case, you are really profiting from having protection on the Yutyrannus, which is a very, very nice trait to have. You can stack it up to 2 times on the same creature, and the maximum damage, depending on the drag weight of the creature, is you receive up to 30% less damage for the first while you are mounted to the creature, or 10 seconds after you dismount, which is incredibly helpful in arenas like the Dragon one, where you are where it summons stuff like the Morphodons, which can in high levels really hurt the rider. So having extra protection against those on the mount you're actually sitting on is really, really great. Otherwise, the Yutyrannus is really situational, because it depends on if you want to be in the fight, which is usually never a good idea on a Yutyrannus. You just want to be in the backline and buff the creatures that are actually attacking. Or if you are good or bad with positioning. It's really dependent on that, because if you are new at doing boss runs and you are really bad at positioning yourself and you are expecting to take a lot of damage, you should think about applying the numb trait on the Yutyrannus and something like Tenacious. So if you take a lot of damage, if the Yutyrannus is under 50%, you take way less damage from creatures around you. If you are more confident, then you should go with traits on the Yutyrannus that decrease your stamina consumption and make the Yutyrannus faster. So you can position more confidently, more faster, and run around the arena without getting targeted by the boss creature. And if you are planning to reposition a lot and flee a lot from boss creatures that are trying to target the player, so you should really apply something like Carefree on the animal, which gives you up to 15% movement speed for 20 seconds after dealing or receiving damage, so you get out of dodge much quicker. You should also think about applying something like Cowardly, which is an amazing skill on the Yutyrannus, because whenever you receive damage, you also get movement speed up to 5% for 5 seconds, and it's refreshing upon subjugant hits on the creature. So all of these different skills increase your movement speed and getting away from danger, so you can let your active boss fighters do all the damage that they are supposed to while staying relatively safe in a distance on your Yutyrannus. So those were the traits that I would say are the best ones for your support dinos. And I hope you liked this video. I am Fuko, and I hope I see you next time for more interesting ARC videos. Until then, see you, goodbye.